your involvement with Lee Harvey Oswald, does this have anything to do with the Kennedy assassination?
Undoubtedly it does. Exactly what is another question, even to me at this point. Howard Hunt was overseas at Atsugi Naval Air Station.
Now, let's not get into speculation.
In
terms of what you did.
It's not speculation, it's in his autobiography.
In terms of what you did and your involvement.
Well, you asked me if my knowledge of Oswald was connected with the Kennedy assassination, and like I say, I don't know whether it was or not. So I would have to speculate to answer that question.
Okay. So the conspiracy that we're talking about then does not involve Oswald?
Who knows? I don't know. Oswald's still a mystery to me. I know a lot more about him than I did before.
So when you were in New Orleans and you were espousing your various ideas,
Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism.
What kind of public statements were you making about Kennedy?
That he ought to be assassinated.
And is that what you believe?
Yeah, and anybody that would talk to me about assassinating him, I would have talked to them about it. Not only did I talk to brother-in-law about it, I talked to Dave Chandler of Life magazine about it. 2 weeks before the assassination, in the Four Seasons, he bought me breakfast one morning, and he brought the subject up. He says, he was an objectivist also, and he says, what do you think about Kennedy? And I said, I think he ought to be shot, and I don't know who said that first, but we got right away into the discussion, and we were talking about maybe finding some way to crash his plane.
Did this appear in print? Did he do an article about this or anything?
But he was a suspect on Jim Garrison's suspect list. Jim Garrison kept asking me his name over and over again, and if I'd heard that name, and I didn't remember it. It had been, that's how common such conversations were with me. It was one I didn't even remember until later. Somebody said, Dave Chandler, he was that friend of Bootsy and Jim Dyer, remember? Oh, that guy. Yeah, oh, Jesus. I sat in the Four Seasons and talked about killing Kennedy with him. Wait till Garrison finds out about that,
Tell us about your encounter with Jim Garrison.
Well, at the time, Jim Garrison, my first suspicion of Jim Garrison was that he wasn't on the level at all, that he was a racketeer of some type. My second feeling about him was that he wasn't a racketeer, that he was sincere, but that he was nuts.
Tell us what happened.
My third feeling about him was that he was a fool who stumbled onto some accurate data. What happened was a friend of mine wanted to give him some information that I had conveyed to him about my experiences connected with the assassination one way or another, like my conversation with Johnny Rosselli and so forth. And my knowledge of Oswald's knowledge of information about the U-2 at Atsugi, and how Oswald might have learned Russian without going through a secret intelligence school. I thought I was naive enough to think that Jim Garrison was interested in the facts instead of into making a case. He wanted, I don't know, either that or Jim Garrison has a hard time learning foreign languages and thinks everybody else has an equally hard time. And because he kept asking me where I learned to speak Spanish. Now that could have been interpreted on many levels. One of them is, though, that how the hell does anybody learn how to speak Spanish? I tried to learn and I couldn't. I don't know,
Did he charge you with anything?
He charged me with perjury for denying that I had spoken with Oswald in New Orleans, in the Bourbon House, one afternoon in the presence of a woman named Barbara Reed and a bookie named Pete Diagno.
Did he subpoena you as a witness in the Clay Shaw trial?
He wanted to call me as a witness in the investigation of Clay Shaw, and I said, look, Robert Ingersoll says it's far better to reward the guilty than to punish the innocent. I don't like the legal process. I don't like the state. I said, I'm suspicious of for all I know, these people may be innocent, Shaw and so on and so forth. I don't want to participate in their prosecution. I don't believe I know. I believe I have told everybody everything I know about it anyway, which I felt that I had at the time.